I mean, if he's an A-gap player, on 4 cross, 4 chase, and we put a G on that, he knows that he's going to work through the inside. His target, his aiming point, his key is that inside of that offensive guard. So that T's the same way. So they need to understand. So I mean, you saw strike. If we go strike wide, now he's a D-gap player, okay? He's going to strike, but now with the wide call, that tells him he's going to be a D-gap, which means he's contain and force. So that's the other thing, and I failed to mention that. From a teaching standpoint, if you're a D-gap player, you're going to be contain and force. If you're a C-gap player, you're contained. What's the difference between contain and force? Contain, you're only worried about keeping the quarterback inside. That's all you're worried about. If you're a force player, you're worried about keeping the ball inside. Okay? So option, then you got the pitch back. Where widest guy, that's how we do it. So we have a force guy, contained guy. It could be the same. Okay, this call here, okay, is a weak go. Okay, weak go. Now, so with the formation, okay, it is going to be from the left. So go is going to be the outside. In this situation, the drop is going to come off that edge. Now, we also have, okay, scoop nose on it. So as we watch, if I can, there we go. Okay, see, let's just watch the left side. So we're coming off that edge. So the aiming point of the drop, and we do what we call blitz drill. Blitz drill is the drop and outside guy. I'm going to come down. My aiming point is going to be working to the outside hip of the offensive tackle. So I can run, but as soon as I get to the hip of the offensive tackle, I want to get my shoulders parallel to the line of scrimmage. So then that way, you get those zone reads and all that other stuff. So especially if the back's on my side. If I'm coming off and the back's on my side, I want to get my eyes to the hip. Once I get to the hip, now I'm going to square up and I want to shift my eyes and I'm looking at the hip of the running back. Okay? Because as a quarterback rides that running back, and if you're watching that hip, as it goes, those hands are going to appear. Those hands are going to appear, and the ball's either going to be in those hands, or the ball is going to be out of the hands. Ball's in the hands, or the hands is going to be empty. If the hands are empty, now that allows him the opportunity that, hey, all I have to do is, I just got to squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. If the running back leaves, and all of a sudden I see the ball in the hands, now I've got to be in a position to contain and keep the quarterback inside. Because I'm a C-gap player, so if that quarterback pulls it, I need to be able to plant and redirect to keep the quarterback inside. So that is the blitz technique that we talk about, is being able to come down and being able to key, transition your body to allow you the opportunity. Transition is something big time. When I was doing the strength and conditioning in the off season, we did a lot of transition stuff in the gym floor. And biggest thing is, when my kids were going through playing sports, I mean, had football, basketball, track, football, wrestling, track, had soccer, volleyball, and basketball. The number of times that I would sit in the stands and just see kids freaking just run, and then turn and run backwards. Instead of being able to, okay, I'm in a position where, where's my help? Where's my help? I need to transition to be able to push them toward my help to keep the leverage, to keep it inside. So being able to transition from one movement to another movement has been very important over the years for me at all positions. Everybody's got different on that. So, now, okay, so now the end of the boundary, he's going He's going to go down to the A gap. Well, the guard pulls, so he stays on the inside of that tackle. That tackle rides him down, but he stays on the inside of that, and he disrupts the running back. Okay? Nose. Okay? As you watch the nose down, you see that guard, the left guard, over here. I mean, he's expecting that nose to be there, so he's there, and our nose cross-faced to get into that gap. Okay? Now, what that does, we just shift gaps. So now this backer knows that, okay, he's going there. I've got this guy coming down. I've got a puller. This is the gap that I'm concerned about right there, is that A gap away from me. Everything else is secured on this side, and then this backer can just sit and knowing that, okay, this guy, the nose is coming to the B gap, I've got this C gap, so now I can just sit there and flow accordingly. And he's an inside-out player. We got help on the outside. Okay? So we'll just watch it real quickly from this view. So now, the other thing is, too, in this coverage is mainly a robber coverage. Okay? Robber coverage. So we're going to have leverage outside of number 2. He's going to be my leverage guy 5 yards off. Okay, so now the ball, okay, right before the ball is snapped, we need him to be on the outside edge of number 2 and forcing him inside. Now, I gave you the pre-snap alignments. That is ideal. Okay? That's ideal. When you have younger inexperience, I had to be a little more flexible. And what I mean by that is, hey, some of those guys, they just needed to get in that position earlier, so then we didn't have that threat as long as what I wanted to. But what was the main purpose? What's their main responsibility? We've got to have them, when the ball is snapped, we need to have them in a position to do their main responsibility so everybody else can do their responsibility. You have ideal situations, but then you've got to adjust. I said there's some guys that can handle playing to the field, playing in space and stuff. Some guys can hold that disguise long and then get out, and it comes down from one, physical, okay, experience, okay, being able to, what that feels like timing-wise, and then 2, from a mental standpoint, okay. Some guys can process that, they can move quick and they can transition and do their responsibilities. Some guys have to line up and, okay, that's the guy I need to concern about. That's the eyes focus I need to have and be able to do it. So those are little things like that that you have to, that I had to adjust to over each season depending on who was playing. And also injuries, too. Okay? So, and then our deep guy, so our deep guy back here he's going to split the difference between number 2 and the offensive tackle to the field, okay, to the wide side. You'll be 11 to 12 yards off, he's keying. So we need to get a great, okay, reroute by number 2. This rush right there, he is not backing out at the snap of the ball, okay? He is going to hunker down 5 yards, okay, and his goal is to force number 2 inside. If number 2 crosses his face, he's going with it. If he crosses his face and turns up, he's going to go with it. But once he releases to the inside, he doesn't have to worry about number 2. He can see a back that's coming out and leverage that, or a pass shows and that back's not coming out. That number 2 releases inside, either deep or underneath. Now he's just going to turn and find number 1 and help. So positioning-wise, he's got to be in a position to force. He needs to be in a position, body-wise, to take away the slant. And then number 3 is force an outside hitch, a wide hitch, not an inside. I don't want that ball to be thrown to the outside of the receiver. If If it comes to the inside, I want to be able to tip that ball or get in that position to kind of obstruct the line of vision of the receiver and just feel that if I come too far in, I may get smacked before I hit the ball, catch the ball, or as soon as I touch the ball, I'm getting smacked. So that's positioning-wise what we talk about there. We'll get to some other things too. So that's movement. Okay, this is like a 2x2 situation here. Okay, the back's offset, so the strength is going to be to the right. Okay, here. Now, so this is tight, so he's going to be up on the line of scrimmage, or a yard off the line of scrimmage, but he's outside. Okay, he's going to put his inside toe on the outside toe over here. Again, he's going to be on the outside edge. He's going to split the difference between. Now, if number 2 is tight into the field, when the ball is snapped, he should be into the A gap. Okay, the deep guy should be in the A gap 10 yards, and he's key in number 2. Corners are basically, hey, I may have help by the deep guy, I may not have help. Okay, that's how robber is. And the whole thing about why we want these guys, the rush and the drop, either at the line of scrimmage or 5 yards off, is because then that is going to tell the deep guy, okay? If I'm the deep guy on the split, and if I'm getting my underneath guy rerouting, he's either going to show that he's going to block, his intentions is to block, or his intentions is to go out for a route. So I'm going to stay, basically, I don't want to say flat-footed, because I want them to move a little bit, so they just kind of bounce their feet a little bit, inside foot forward. So I'm looking at number 2. Number 2 comes off fast and tries to avoid, then, hey, it's going to be a pass. But if he comes off and a yard or 2 right before the rusher drop on your side, he idles down, lowers his hip, then that can trigger me to get up from a run fit standpoint. I can be an extra guy from a run fit. So that's what the robber coverage is about. Now, here's our next. Yep. So this is a chase wrap. Okay? This is a chase wrap. So we're going to send the backer, and we do it 2 ways. We time it, or we show it. Okay? Coach Wooster talked about that. And again, when those guys show it, we just have them get up and put their front toe at the heels of the defensive alignment. They're not even, but they're right behind. They're staggered. So then that way, the nose can go, then I can go, or I can go and the nose can go, because we do it both ways. Again, depending on blocking scheme, depending on run pass, all those combinations. Otherwise, if we're timing it, now it's a situation where, again, I talked about, so we start back, and this is, to me, how timing. I don't want the guys to go up here because they get off balance. If they can just scoot up, they're always in a position where they can explode and go through, or if all of a sudden they get a hard count, now they've got a break where they can control their body and regain their body position and control. So, but this is a chase wrap. So it's just going to go through and bring. Okay. Again, there, another one. So now, okay, the first one, the linebacker came through. This one, the nose came through. So it's one of those things. We will also, what we call pick, okay? So the linebacker will come down. Come on, can you help me again, please? Yep. Okay. So if you're the center, okay, and I'm the backer over here and got the guard. So if we want to pick, so what we'll do is we'll come down, and what we want to do is we want to, ideally, again, every individual is different. I've talked about having the hand and just hitting the hip that way. Some guys like to just do the shoulder pad, but the whole key is, if you're going to do the shoulder pad, you can't get your shoulder pad in front. You've got to work to the side. You got to, because otherwise you work in front, he drops this leg, drop it back, now he's got you. It defeats. So that's why I like the idea of just working the hip, because now you're pushing that hip away and you're controlling that leg, and he can't win. So you just ricochet off, and then the nose would come around. Thank you. So that's what we will do the pick also on that. Right?
Got about 4 minutes, Coach.
Okay. Here's a strike. Okay. So there's a linebacker. This is, we just 6 strike. So it goes to the field. Okay. The tackle doesn't do a great job. He should have been on the outside. Okay, that guard, he overshoots it. Guessing it. Tell you right now, more likely it's going to be the eyes is the problem. And the backer is now going to be the contain. So he's going to work to the outside of the tackle to get it pulled up. And if we do a good job of eyes, then that tackle, we get it pulled up by the backer, then the tackle's on the outside of that guard. Now, here's the thing about it. One of the things, if we were going to get a lot of sprint out, one of the things that I would do is tag T to him. So that what that means now is that tackle, okay, 6 strike T, so now I'm a B-gap player, but I'm not going to mess with the guard. I'm just going to stay on that tackle. So as that tackle steps out, then I'm going to not come in as far. I'm going to readjust, and I'm going to work through that inside of that tackle, and that tackle will have to decide, do I turn and pin him, or do I continue to go out for the linebacker that's striking to the outside? So we're putting him in a little bit of a bind. We did that also from a run game standpoint, okay? On power stuff, that works well on power also. So you can see it from the end zone here. Again, you can see the tackle. See, I mean, here would be a good, so if we were doing a T, then that would have been right in that quarterback's face. Okay. Now, here we're going to do a strike, and then also we're going to twist, okay, the edge guy down to the A gap, so he's going to basically do scoop technique down to the A gap, and the nose is going to wrap around. So let's watch it from the end zone. So we can do it both sides. We can change it up that way. This is the same thing. Oh, okay. Here's an example. Okay, we got 3 skills to the field. Now the linebacker, okay, what he just needs to sit in at 5 yards. Okay, and what we're doing now, this is a 3rd and 9 situation. So again, from a pass standpoint, so what we're doing is doing the same thing. We're going to do a strike, but now to the field, we did back strike. But one of the adjustments that we will do is this. If we have 3 skills, okay, to the side of the blitzer, we're going to check the other backer. Okay? Again, this is a pass situation. So this backer just needs to sit inside. His goal is to make number 3 go deep and over the top, or go shallow underneath. One or the other. Okay? One or the other. So he just needs to sit in there and be patient and take that window away. We want to take that quick hitch by number 3 away, okay, with his alignment. Because now we have 3 on 2 with these guys out here, okay, and this guy is cross-keying right there. So what we want to do is sit inside, and once he goes outside and past, he's got it. Now, if he goes underneath, now he can just level off and just kind of see, okay, does he go underneath then vertical, or does he go shallow all the way across? Because we still got a guy sitting over there in the other flat that he can run to. So he can just mirror him. If he goes underneath, he can just mirror him and kind of see what's going on. If he goes to the outside, we still got another guy that's going to be out there that he can push it to and just help in that void, that curl area. So that's what his job is. And I put this on there, so, I mean, it's incomplete, but, see it from the end zone here. So, if this linebacker just sits right in there at 5 yards, okay, forces 15 to go outside and over the top, this guy, so we're going to have him bracket. We're going to have an inside underneath, and then we're going to have an over the top. So that's going to be a tougher throw. And then, the other thing too is we have a strike, and we also have the tackle coming in and the nose coming around. So again, so we've got not a clear window, kind of what I call a foggy window, because hey, we've got a guy that's in his face and he's got to throw that. But if we can just be in there, maybe an interception, or he doesn't throw it at all and he just takes the sack. Okay, so that's one there. Okay, weak check. So, now, we talked about a chase wrap. The opposite for us of a chase wrap is a nose-back chase. Okay? So what that is now the nose is going to go back. Because on inside zone, okay, inside zone, you have everybody working, okay, hard, most of the time working hard away. So what we're going to do is now we're getting more of the backs that's going to work, but then they're going to come back to that side because they want to just wash everybody and basically get a straight downhill run from the running back. So the running back's going to make like 1, 2 steps, and then once he gets the ball, he's just going to straight up where the ball was snapped. So by doing the nose back, what we do is now that slows that line from riding everybody across, because now we've got a heavier body at the line of scrimmage coming back against their momentum, and then the linebacker should run here. And the thing is, this gap right here is really not a threat. They don't want to run there. Okay? They typically want to run here to the backside. So this backer is going to fit as everything's working to them. This backer over here is going to fit into this A gap. This backer is going to fit into this A gap. This nose is going to be back here. And we should have the end in the C gap on that side. Now, we have still another hang player out here. If that gap would open up, he would be in position there to fit if needed. So we should, again, have this guy fit right there, this backer fit inside of 73, and this other linebacker would be working in. You can see him right there. So if we're there, we're pretty well gapped out. So that just, the chase wrap against this is hard because you get at different levels. Where if you get the nose back chase, now we're creating a wall. And that's what we talk about. We want to create a wall at the line of scrimmage. Let's get you another thing that we would do. Okay? Here's the other thing we'll do, is we will go away scoop plug. Okay? So, this is the main back. And we knew that they would do this. Okay? This is a receiver, mainly a receiver. They put him in and they'd motion him out. If they kept him in, they kept him in. But this was the main back. So, the other call, so from a zone standpoint, one of the other things we would do is now we would go away scoop because they're zoning to our right. Again, from a defensive perspective, zoning to the right. And then, so our end is going to go to A gap here. Our nose is going to go to the A gap. This tackle is going to go C gap. This Will's got the B gap on this side. And then what we're going to do is we're going to send this backer into the B gap over here. Okay? So it's a scoop plug. Okay? A way scoop plug. And then we still have hang player out here for the C gap. Now, one of the things, and this is, so as we go, now, we should have been tighter right here and not worried about that tackle because we want to push the ball to the outside. Okay? So if I'm plugging, I'm going to go B1. Okay? And when I say B1, I'm talking about if somebody would come in and attack that and the quarterback would follow, and if I would have the first open gap, I would be a B1 because somebody out here from a coverage standpoint would be ready to help me on B2. So the same idea there is, so if we bring this guy down and I'm going to work B1 knowing that I've got to help outside. I want to force. I'm not a force guy. Okay? I'm a B-gap player. So if this guy comes across, I want to force that to the outside, and there's my force guy, and I still have another guy that can help me behind. Okay? So this is just another way, and this is something else from a wide split standpoint, where, because we did the chase wrap, we'll also do a plug wrap, okay, where we blitz the B gap and bring the outside guy to the A gap. So this is just the opposite. So we're going fast, and now we should be attacking right there. You just got a little too wide. Okay? So that's that one. Okay, that's... Okay? Mallard. Okay, Mallard. Now we're getting our zone pressure. Okay? With our zone pressure with Mallard, Mallard means both inside linebackers are blitzing. Okay? Chase, that's telling them they're both going to the A gap. We could go Mallard Chase, we can go Mallard Axe. At Mallard Axe, now they're crossing. Okay? So the right backer would go to the left A gap, okay? And then vice versa. Okay? The left backer would go to the right A gap. But Chase is we're just going to work through, and on box, okay, we were getting a lot of 3x1. Okay? Get a ton of 3x1. I don't always want to be in a 3 under 3 deep against a 3x1. So what we will do with that is we will go ahead and play in a 3x1 situation. We'll go ahead and play basically a cover 2 on these two, and then we'll take our deep guy and cross Keen to number 3 and basically play man on the backside. And then the other guy that's not, which is the drop in this situation, he's just got to be alert and be in a position to cover the back. Now, if the back flares out this way, he's flaring out to a zone, cover 2. If the back comes this way, he just matches up to a man. If he steps up in, then he just matches up and mans up. So the corner on the weak side is manned up, and then we zone it. So, but if it's a 2x2 situation, we're just going to play 4 under 2 deep. Is what we're going to play. So we can go 4 under 2 deep. We can go 3 under 3 deep. We can also box it and get the combination of a man on one side and a zone on the strong side. Okay, so that's what box is. Let's go to. So this was tight. So that tells when it's the direction tells where the nose is going. So tight. So this would be a right call. So the nose is going to the right B gap, and then the backers are going to go to the A gap. Okay? Hey, it doesn't always work well, but that's the idea. Depending. Here's a run situation. Ooh, what's going on? Okay. So let's go back formation-wise. So it's basically a 2x2. We'll just say 2x2. We got 2 over here, 2 there, and the back. So we're just going to play 4 under 2 deep. Okay, motion's in still. So we got the corner to be the force guy. Okay, here to the boundary. Does a great job. Okay, does a great job over here. So this is, okay, an away. Okay. So now the nose is going to go away from the back, okay, which is a right call because the back is offset to the left. Because certain tendencies and stuff like that. This was game 2, so you didn't have great tendencies, but that's what we did. Now, So it's a chase. So the backers are running through the A gaps, okay? And then you've got the force by the corner to the left, and then you have the deep guy should have been out a little bit wider that would fit right inside. That's one of the zone pressures. Okay, Hawk I like better against run or pass, doesn't matter. And here's the reason why. Is because now, like on the mallard, it's predetermined. Okay, on Hawk, what we're doing is, so this is back Hawk. So we should have the nose working to the A gap, to the side of the back. The backer on the side of the back is going to go to the opposite A gap. The backer away from the back is going to key the guard. So if the guard steps down, that's his green light to go through the B gap. If that guard steps out, he's going to work back to the other B gap. Okay? From a run or pass standpoint, it's okay, where's the back fitting in? The slide protection that he talked about, well, instead of attacking, having a backer attack the guard in that B gap, well, let them just slide that way, and then let's go around to the other side and let's make the back that they don't want to block, or the back is in the backfield to run the ball or catch the ball. He's not a primary blocker. Now, they do sub and get a primary blocker in there, and then he's not going to run or pass, but what we want to do is force the back to block, okay, to pass protect. So that's where we like to hop. So across. So now, so the nose fits in that A gap, and that backer is in the other A gap. And again, even though the back's going that way, the ball's going that way, it's really not a threat. But anyway, we do have somebody that can help us out here in this B gap if necessary. Okay? But now, let's watch the backer away from the back. Okay, that guard goes out. So now he's looking to go back to the back side. So you can see right now, okay, we got gapped out, almost, but at least we got a nose in this gap, and we're here, okay, and we're solid. So that guy's not going to come all the way back here, because now what the lineman will do, okay, most offenses, okay, I'm not going to say all, but most offenses, when you're looking at a zone situation, one of the guards is basically going to take a gap away. So now, let's use their body and their scheme against them and force it back. So we can get by with a fewer number of guys in those areas by working against their blocking scheme.